Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 5 of the OCVarsity Gridiron Show. Dare I say, Mr. Fryer, it is a sneaky good week. You got to look at the depth of Orange County. You can never sleep on any week, in my opinion, because you never know when that team is going to rise up and surprise us with an amazing performance or a player, particular unit. And I think this is a sneaky good week. What do you think about week 5?
Well, it's always fun. There's always some kid, no matter what game, what week, whatever. Some kid's going to have his best night of his athletic life
Yeah.
somewhere, some stadium, some place. He's going to remember it forever. He's going to remember, he's going to have maybe just one tackle on special teams, or he's going to run for his first ever touchdown. And then when he gets to be my age, he made 20 tackles and ran for 6 touchdowns.
Exactly. So it's about memories out there. But hey, when we also got in the prediction business, I notably missed on a few last week, including San Clemente, and I went for some couple upsets. San Clemente, La Habra didn't come through. San Clemente, I picked Edison to beat San Clemente, and Tritons proved me wrong there, and the Vanguards also got that victory against La Habra. So speaking of El Medina and a sneaky good week, how about this on Thursday night, Fryer? You got number 10 San Juan Hills, 5-0, like we said, number 10 in Orange County at number 19 El Medina, who's kind of righted the ship now, won 2 in a row, and held off La Habra last week. La Habra exploded for 28 points in the fourth quarter. But this is a great game, I think, to kick off this week, because you got some intriguing guys on this field tonight in this game. First off, you got the left-handed quarterbacks. Timmy Herr established himself at San Juan Hills, and of course Xavier Guess at El Medina. So nice quarterback matchup. You got Lund running the ball well for the Stallions. You got the Robinson brothers at San Juan Hills, and you got those linebackers, Jaworski and Weston Port. El Medina put the thump down on San Juan Hills last year. So I think this is a big game for both teams, potential league champions clashing here. You got the North Hills favorite in Elmo. You got San Juan Hills is going to, is the favorite in the Seaview League. What do you have? Who do you have in this one, Fryer?
San Juan Hills. I think this is a kind of shaping up as a pretty special year for the Stallions at San Juan Hills. You mentioned Timmy Herr. What a great season he's had, not just throwing it, but running the ball. Sullivan Land's been a terrific running back for them. Really good defensive effort by the Stallions. El Medina, I picked them to beat La Habra last week because it just is such a hard-hitting, gritty bunch. When I saw them play Cypress, even though they lost to Cypress, man, they put some dudes in some elbow slings. They hit pretty hard, but I think there's a lot of team speed, some good size on the line over there at San Juan Hills. A lot of skill, and I think San Juan Hills wins this one down.
Okay. And speaking of running the ball well at quarterback, Xavier Guess rushed for 4 touchdowns last week in that victory against La Habra. I am also picking San Juan Hills. I think this is a step-up game for them. This is going to be the toughest team that they've played potentially, so far this season. They've adjusted their schedule this year. They were, Coach Frith, had them playing up some tough games in years past. But now it's starting to get a little bit stiffer. So this will be a good test for San Juan Hills, who, oh, by the way, take on Tesoro in their next game. So that's coming down the pipe. Now back on this week 5, Steve. Like I said, sneaky good week. Don't sleep on this week. Week 5. Well, how about Corona del Mar coming off the bye? Pretty battle-tested schedule, going down to Trabuco Hills. Both these teams, Orange County top 25. Sea Kings are, I think, 12th, and Trabuco Hills is 23rd. And like I said, the only loss, they come on off their first loss to a sizzling hot Tustin team. Who do you got in this one, Mr. Fryer?
Corona del Mar. I just like, I saw them lose to San Clemente, but still a pretty good football team. Good size in the line, got the speed on the defensive side of the football. Telesco, et cetera. But I really like the CDM team. Trabuco Hills, they're going to challenge San Juan Hills for that championship in the CV League. Pretty good football league. But I think Corona del Mar, even though I saw them lose to San Clemente, that says more about how good San Clemente is than anything about the Sea Kings. But yeah, Corona del Mar is my pick in this one, Dan.
Okay. I also have Corona del Mar. I think coming off the bye, they played a pretty good schedule of physical teams, including, like you mentioned, San Clemente, Palos Verdes they played. They played Cyprus. They played Downey. They played some good teams. But so is, Trabuco's playing some good Orange County teams as well. But I think that extra rest will get Corona del Mar well prepared and a little bit healthier for this game. So here's a Friday night game. I want to throw this as a combo package here. A little duo here of a pair of Trinity League teams that are in action on Friday. And I want to preface this is that there was a major upset in the Trinity League involving a Trinity League team last weekend. So you wonder, is there any chance that the Lightning strikes again one of these Trinity League teams? You have Mater Dei going East Friar to take on St. Francis of Maryland in a national type game. And St. Francis played a really tough schedule, including St. John Bosco, who they lost to earlier this year, about 35-10 or so range. And then you also have Servite coming off its bye, taking on an old Angeles League rival in St. Paul. So, in St. Paul, apparently their quarterback is, might have been out for the season, might be out with the season. He might have suffered a knee injury in his last game. Do you think any chance that Mater Dei and Servite don't get the wins on the road this weekend and somehow suffer the same fate as Bosco that lost in Hawaii?
The only team that is capable of beating Mater Dei, Bosco, they're going to be better. They're going to get it together. They're going to learn something from playing that loss to Kahuku, who I saw play Mater Dei, and the Kahuku team had some athletes and some speed. They were good. But really, Mater Dei's biggest adversary is just Mater Dei. As long as they're focused, play every down, they don't get, too much, too big headed on it. Mater Dei probably is going to go out there and cruise and win by a lot. Servite, St. Paul, go ahead and hit that one if you don't mind. I will. Servite is on a bit of a roll, a confidence roll. The young people all believe in each other. They know that they were looked down as the number 6 team in that league, but gosh, they're feeling really good about themselves. St. Paul is, Mike Machete's coaching over there. He's going to get that thing going. If, you're down to your second string quarterback against a very hungry, still looking for respect Servite team, it's going to be a tough one for St. Paul. Tough place to play, the old pit at St. Paul. But Servite, which hasn't played St. Paul since 2012, and they were huge rivals in the 60s and the 70s. I like Servite in their game, and I like Mater Dei in theirs, Dan.
Yeah, I'm picking both Mater Dei and Servite. I look at this as a must-win for Servite. They're 3-1. This would get them to 4-1, and then they would only need, and I say only, much easier said than done. But 4-1, that would really, set them up for a good shot to be 500. And if they're 500, then they have a great chance to get an at-large berth. For the playoffs, because it's going to come down to at-large teams. They'll be competing against other at-large teams that are at least 500, and with their power ranking and Cal Preps, they would beat out most teams. And I think, but they're still going to have to get one more in that Trinity League, which did not happen last year.
Yeah, and they only lost to Rancho Cucamonga by like 3 points, 4 points. Oh my goodness! If they do go 0-5 in the league and they're 4-6, yow. They're going to look back at that Rancho Cucamonga game, which they had in their pocket for a while. So, But anyway, in Mater Dei, they're just, Dan, I've seen a lot of Mater Dei football in the last 30 whatever years. And, even I saw them in the 60s, I was a little boy, but talent-wise, they're just so fast, so deep. They're incredible this year.
Yeah. And as we link these teams together this week in week 5, guess who plays in their Trinity League opener, Mr. Fryer, on September 29th, next Friday?
Yeah, at a place in Santa Ana, right? Santa Ana Bowl. They're the home of the Monarchs.
That's right. So that will be a Trinity League opener. And
get your tickets now.
Hey, you have a one-loss Servite team that perhaps if they win, they would be 4-1, taking on 5-0 Mater Dei. Could be interesting.
$10 to park at the bowl. $10 to park at the bowl, everybody.
That's what I've heard.
Bring cash.
I think Mater Dei will roll this week. All right.
Yep.
Want to close out two more to look at here, Friar, since we did a combination there. I think this is the game of the week, perhaps. Murrieta Valley and their quarterback, junior quarterback, Bear Bachmeyer, who's got some good recruiting interest, considered a 4-star. He's on Notre Dame's radar, among others. He's bringing in Murrieta Valley to San Clemente, who we know is off to a 5-0 start, and they're starting to play some good teams and starting to really show what they can do. I mean, they did beat Chaparral to open up, but the last couple games, look what they've done to a couple Sunset League contenders. Really handled Corona Del Mar, really handled Edison, pulling away a little bit in the second, pulling away big time in the second half. And this is an interesting rivalry. You know, Murrieta Valley and San Clemente have played a lot of entertaining games over the years, and they know each other quite well. Because who did San Clemente defeat, Mr. Fryer, to win its first ever CIF title in 2016?
I'm going to say that would have been the Murrieta Valley boys.
That was Murrieta Valley, 45-35 at Murrieta. Tritons became CIF champions for the first time, went on to win the state championship as well. But this is they've been really kind of playing a lot since then. Who do you got in this one?
You know, San Clemente, you know, you mentioned the quarterback at Murrieta Valley. You can't complete passes, you can't throw touchdown passes if you don't get the ball a lot. And San Clemente's really good at ball control offense. Okay. Aiden Rubin, you know, running through giant holes, got a really good offensive line with Ben Baker and Connor Bachhuber. Really good looking group up front. They're big, open up big holes. And Rubin, you know, 20, 25 carries, looks just as fresh at the end of the game as afterward. Remember after the game when I saw him beat Corona Del Mar, you know, he looked like he was good to go another 15 carries. Like, who is this guy? He's just really a good little back, and good defense over there too. Good offensive play over there. Good. You know, Dylan Mills is a good enough quarterback. You know, all county guy. You know, on the fringes of it. You know, he's not Elijah Brown, but who is, right? But you know, Hunter Holden Staxton is a really good receiver for them. And but yeah, ball control, they're going to just ram it. And Murrieta Valley, you know, their defense going to be in the field a long time, Dan. So Tritons are going to win it.
I'm also picking San Clemente. Hey, I can't go against them after they proved me wrong last week. And I'm interested to see this game. I'll be checking it down, checking the Tritons out, and I'm interested to see them live in person, to see all this cool stuff I've been reading about, the physical play, the defense. Ruben, I think, has been an emerging guy.
Yes.
So there's a few Tritons I'm excited to see, and I'm excited to see Murrieta Valley as well. Last game on Saturday, speaking of South Coast League, how about Mission Viejo and trips east? Mission Viejo is also going east this week, Friar. Like I said, sneaky good week. Diablos taking on St. John's of Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So credit to the Diablos on making a long trip East Coast. St. John's pretty good. They open up against American Heritage of Florida.
Right.
They lost that game, but that's a really high quality game. And I looked at the Cal Preps rankings. I mean, St. John's and Los Al are pretty close. Now you saw the Diablos just squeak by Los Al last week in an overtime thriller. You think the Diablos can go all the way east and win that game on Saturday afternoon?
You know, these road trip games are sometimes a little freaky, right? Whether you're going over the ocean to Hawaii, or you're going to the east, or going to Texas, or whatever, they can be a little weird for kids. You know, as long as they can focus on the game, that's all up to the coaches and the young people. I've seen Mission Viejo play, and they are really good. That game last week was kind of a tough one to get a feel for either team, down, because there were so many penalties in the game. So many penalties. So there wasn't a lot of flow to the game. But I like the way Mission Viejo's defense plays. Anderson didn't play for them, the outstanding defensive back. If he's playing he's a difference maker. So, but you know, the really good linebacker play, Matranga, really good group back there. So I think defense leads Mission Viejo to a win out there in DC, our nation's capital.
That's right. I think the Diablos also will win. So we do agree on all those games. I looked a little bit at the stats of St. John's. They're 2-1, pretty comparable.
Yes.
But I expect it to be pretty close. Could be on the physical side. And you mentioned about penalties and stuff. I mean, that's one of the things that really hurt Bosco. In their game on Saturday to Cajuco, they had some key penalties at untimely moments of that game. Some of the Bosco faithful didn't like those calls, but that's part of playing on the road, is that you gotta, again, it's easier said than done, but you have to overcome all the breaks that don't go against you. So that's part of the, playing on the road, and we'll see if the Diablos can clean that up. It's something they have to be aware of, penalties, turnovers. So, hey, this is a pretty good week. Next week, a lot of the big leagues are going to start out their openers, including the Trinity League and the Sunset League. We're still a little bit away from the South Coast League, but a lot of the league action is really going to start to heat up next week. But I say don't sleep on week 5. Steven, what do you say?
Yeah, I agree. There's always good games out there. There's some pretty funky games out there too. Besides that one, like, Aliso and Gil Marina might be a fun game out at Westminster. I think that's on Thursday. And another Thursday game, Kennedy could be 5-0 if they win. Gosh, who saw Kennedy being 5-0, dude? But that's a good one out there as well. And then Segerstrom's 4-1, and they play a Troy team that is, a playoff contender team out of the Free League. So, there's other good games out there to watch out for. Troy Segerstrom's intrigues me. I'm interested to see what happens out there.
Yeah, Segerstrom might win their league, perhaps. And then Troy has been, definitely been a solid team in the Freeway League. So, all right, Steve. Well, hey, thanks for offering your picks, and thanks for following our show. And we will see you guys at the games.
All right, thanks everybody.